And are you good with colors, what you've got there for thread, bobbin?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Mom was good. Some machine was left on last night. Came out in the middle of the night and seen it live. Oh,
Good morning.
Wakey, wakey, everybody. We are early. My hair's still wet from the shower.
And we are early because...
We are early because I got a dentist appointment this morning at 9:15.
That she forgot all about.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really forget. They called yesterday to reschedule.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to say yes. Good morning, Carol Ann. Good morning, Kathy. You guys are awake. Nobody else is probably. But we are going to start and go. Means it's being saved anyway. People can watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we are going to start the class. We're going to show them your block first.
Yeah, we are. So
No, I didn't pee the bed.
I tested our block to make sure that we got it right. So this is the block that we're making this week.
There's our block.
It's the birdhouse. So this, when it finishes, measures 12.5 by 16.5.
Good morning, Laura.
We're going to show you all the pieces, and as she sews them, I'll tell you the measurements. But as usual, I will type in the video after it goes on the page. When I get them in, I'll type in all the measurements for your cutting.
It's 5:30 where Suzanne is, and she's watching
up.
this.
Oh my word!
Good morning, Suzanne.
So Deb has told you all along that she plans on doing a second quilt besides this one. And her second one is going to have a bit of a nautical theme. So at the end of finishing up this quilt, we will show you some of the options that you could switch out in this quilt to make it more nautical. So this one. So this will replace this 12.5, 16 by 16.5 block that we're doing today, if you decide to go with the nautical option. So those will be added at the end of the sew along after we finish the normal option. Normal in quotation marks. We'll do the nautical one. Is there anything
normal about us?
I was just going to say, that's why I said in quotation marks. It's a very loose statement.
Anyway, so we don't want to confuse it and give you two sets of instructions for two blocks.
Oh,
We're going to wait and do...
Did we take a picture of that?
The nautical... No, we didn't.
I'm going to get my camera and take a picture before we start.
We're going to do the nautical at the end of all this. Good morning, Donna Dill.
So if you think that you would rather do the nautical option, then you probably need to hold off on doing this block.
Good morning from Ontario. Wow.
I'm going to sneak over here.
We've got the block that we're sewing all laid out on the table, and she's going to take a picture of it labeled before I sew it. So
I'm not sure that you can see it, but
I think so.
Yeah.
And then that way you'll be able to
block
see it after we get it sewn together.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. So we're going to get started since Deb's got to go sit in the dentist chair. So I'm glad it's her, not me.
Okay. So we're going to start at the... Where do you want me to start? At the roof?
Okay. Well, yeah.
Roof. I need the other foot on for the roof.
Yes, you do. You may as well start there and get that done, right?
Get that big piece done?
Yep. So, I'm going to try to take this puppy out.
So that you can...
Okay, guys, hang on. You're going to probably get dizzy.
I gotta grab my purse. My foot is in my purse. Oh my glory.
Okay. Then I always have to figure out how to switch this sucker around. There we go. Okay, so this, well, Deb's, did you hear that? That was Deb upsetting, I'd say, the whole contents of her purse, trying to find her foot. So this is what your pieces are going to look like when you get them cut out and laid out. And we're going to start with these two pieces, which is your roof and your sky around your roof. So these two pieces, you have one, this is your roof color, one piece that measures 5 by 9.5. And onto that, we're going to make basically a flying geese unit. And we're going to put 2 of these 5 by 5 squares. So that's the first step. Here's Deb with her screwdriver doing her thing.
Yeah. I can't, with my 1/4-inch foot, I can't sew diagonally.
No, because it's got the little lippy thing. Yeah.
Bunches my fabric up.
Okay, so we're going to do just a basic flying geese unit. Shoot, I don't have, you'll have to crease that because I don't have.
That's what I do.
Okay, so Deb, typically you can draw a line from corner to corner, Or you can do what Deb's doing right there and just finger crease it and follow that. What'd you do? Burn your thumb?
I did at the retreat.
I
Isn't
guess
that
you did.
awful?
I guess you did.
It looks worse as the days go on.
Would you burn it on the iron?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you have scissors in here?
I am going to make do.
Okay, here we go.
I just got to check something.
So that's going to be the first step is the flying geese unit. And then we're going to press that. And then we're going to move on to, here she goes again.
Ah, there's something, there we go. Nobody's going to want an industrial machine after they watch me.
So after we get the flying geese unit, flying geese, flying goose, whatever it is, then we're going to work on this piece, which is the body of the birdhouse. So for that, you're going to need to pick whatever color you want. The whole body is all one color of the birdhouse, except a little hole in the center of the birdhouse. You probably should pick a darker color or whatever so that it stands out. So you can see the measurements here. You need one piece that's 2 by 6.5, two pieces here and here that are 1.5 by 3, and the big bottom piece is 4 by 6.5, and then your little dark hole, which is a 1.5 inch square. So that's going to be the next step. And then after you get those together, we're going to add a 2 by 6.5 strip down each side. So that's going to be the next step.
Do I just show them if I
Yeah.
was to go along like this?
What is she doing here?
I'm just sewing an extra seam in here.
She's sewing an extra seam.
When
So
I
let's
cut
show
this,
them. So she's
I've
got two seams. Yeah.
So when I cut this apart,
You're cutting between the seams.
I'm cutting between. This is going to save me, instead of scraps like this first one that I did, I'm going to have a square triangle that I can square down.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay,
We
so
have the roof made.
we do. So give me that. So the next step, Deb, if you grab, let's start with this middle section
That
right
middle
there.
row?
Yeah, let's grab that.
Okay.
So she's going to put that little bird hole in the center of those two other strips. And while she sews that, I'm going to iron this block. So
That's with one hand.
yeah, exactly. These guys are going to be so dizzy watching me. This thing's just right on a swivel here. Ooh, look at that. One side. Who knows what this will look like on the, of course I did the wrong side first. There we go. One-handed sewing and ironing. Probably not the most accurate, right? So basically you just have a flying geese unit for your, that felt like it had a curve in it. There we go.
Do you want me to iron this as I put it on the table?
There we go. So she's, well, it might be better because I'm making these guys so dizzy.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
You're on my...
Oh, I'm on the cord. I don't know why you can't lift that with me on it. What's the problem?
You've lost a lot of weight, but... Okay.
So now the next step is to sew the top yellow piece to the whole piece. So that's what she's going to do now.
Do I have a funny story for Friday night?
Oh, do you really?
You will not believe what happened to me yesterday.
No, we probably won't.
And it's going to be hard not to say it right now because it's so funny.
But you better hold it till
I'm going to
Friday
hold
night.
it till Friday.
Okay, so now she's pressing that, and now she's going to add the bottom unit of the birdhouse. Just like so.
I'm going to need acorn spray for that seam. I'll grab it here in a sec.
So when she ironed that middle section, she put her seams to the dark birdhouse.
Because I thought if I didn't, Twyla would growl at me.
Oh no, I'd never growl. But that's where I would put it, to the center, but that doesn't mean anything. Everybody does their own thing, and that's fine. whatever you need to do. Okay.
Okay, we got that. And now I'm going to put
So
the
now
sides.
we've got to put the 2 by 6.5 inch.
How come I have more than 6.5 inch?
Yeah, you're not supposed to have.
You didn't.
No, I didn't. Did you cut?
That's too long. That's all right. We'll just cut
trim
it off.
Okay. Yeah, start it at the top. There we go.
We'll check that measurement before we...
Yeah, I will. Okay, and the second one. Ugh. I worked on a quilt this weekend with a tone on tone that was so hard to tell the right side from the wrong side.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So, needless to say, in the middle of it, I do have one sewn upside down, but it's staying.
Oh, and can you sleep with that?
Yep, I can. I am not taking out a whole row to fix that. Okay, so that's going to have to be
I
trimmed.
don't like that. It's not laying flat.
There, she's going at it with the acorn.
I'm going to go trim this now. I'm just going to go run it at the door.
Okay, so just make sure, check it against my block, make sure that our measurements. So is the 6.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
This is right. So I'm
Okay,
just going to go.
there we go. So now, the next section, ladies, that we're going to do is we're going to start down here with, whoops, we sort of messed these up. So this is the post that holds the birdhouse up. I think when you look at this thing right here, that those red things are like the flowers and that those green things are stems. So that's what I'm calling that. I don't know if that's technically what it is or not. So
we have the base. We have this made.
Yeah, we have that. So
now what do you want me to do?
So now,
you want me to start down this side?
Yeah, we're going to start down this side. We're going to take a red and tack it on the end. So that's a 1.5 inch square that we're tacking on the end of a 1.5 by 3.5. And there's one on each side. I don't know if you're going to do each side or just...
Might as well.
Yeah. Now, I will warn you, ladies, that section, you need to be very careful when you're laying it out because there's some very similar sizes.
Okay.
So now you're going to take a 1.5 inch background square, attach it to a 1.5 inch leaf color square or whatever color you pick. And then we're putting it on, that square is a 1.5 by 2.5 background. So there's that unit, and then there's just the exact same thing, only going in the opposite direction on the other side.
And then I'm going to go down and pick up the next row.
So now if you look, ladies, if you make 4 of these units like you did here, they'll just flip and flop.
They're both the same.
They're both the exact same.
The next
so
the next row is the same as mine.
Right. This row and this row. And this row and the next row are the same. It's just a matter of flipping it end to end. So you need to make 4 of these units.
That's going in like that.
Yeah. So do you see what I mean, ladies? That this, you can just switch it this way and it gives you the very next one that you need. So just make 4 of those units.
Should I sew these together so that they don't get confused at this point?
Well, we're laying them right where they go.
Okay.
I think we're good. Famous last words. I think we're good. Okay.
That's when we get into trouble.
So the last one is a green 1.5 inch square sewn to a 1.5 by 3.5 inch square. There.
Now I'm going to sew them in a row, these down.
So they probably, you can iron first or after. technically, I would iron all towards the green because then I think you'd be able to nest your seams. Oops.
Yes, teacher.
Well, just to make it a little easier, some people, when they're working with 1.5 inch squares or squares that tiny, prefer to iron open. And that's definitely a personal decision if you want to do that. I don't think it's the big deal that it used to be considered to do that. You see a lot of well-known quilters doing that nowadays.
Do you want to check my row to make sure I got them in the right order as I pick them up?
No, you've got
I
that
got them
one.
backwards, don't
Ass
I?
backwards, yep.
Ass backwards.
Ass backwards. Yes, you do.
Well, that's why I said check it.
So we'll flip that one around.
I'm just ironing them.
Yeah, and then we'll put them where they go. Oops, I'm stepping on that cord again. No wonder you can't.
It's because my room is so big, it just kind of gets lost in. All right.
Okay, so this one needs to go there. This one needs to go there. And then this has got to flip
That way.
this way.
And that's got to flip this
Yeah.
way. And flip
that
this
way.
And flip
Yeah.
that way.
So you should have, when you lay it out, like a diagonal line going up from the base, up away from the base.
Okay.
So now those rows just have to be sewn together.
I guess this is being time. This is a quick block to sew together once you have it cut.
It is, yeah. So she's on a roll here. Whoops. So after those are sewn together, at the very top, you will see that there's this piece right here, and that's going to go on the top of these units before you join the post in the middle of the 2 units. And that piece is 1 inch by 4.5, if I remember right, because I think we lost our little sticky. I'm just going to measure it here now. Yes, it's 1 by 4.5. So after you get this unit, we're going to sew that 1 by 4.5 piece to the top. So these will nest very nicely if you press them to the inside. So then you can nest those points so that they match up. So if you press everything to the dark on that section, you'll be able to nest your points. We're on the countdown for the dentist. I wonder how our time's going.
You know what? They're always late.
Yeah, but how much you want to bet that the day that if you're late would be the day that they are not late? That's Murphy's Law, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here she goes, ironing.
Doesn't feel like we've been a half hour yet.
Probably not. Okay. So, oh, no, you should add your top piece.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I should have done that before I ironed it.
She doesn't listen. I just explained the whole step. But she was busy sewing, I guess.
Yeah, am I supposed to listen to it too?
Oh, well, whatever. Nobody else does. You guys getting dizzy, me swinging back and forth? There. So once she gets this iron, now she can sew that post in the middle.
Yeah.
So just make sure that your green stem touches the base of the pole and that the diagonal goes up away from the pole towards the color of your flower. I'm calling it a flower and stem. I'm not sure that that's what it is, but I think that's what it is. Or a vine twisting around the pole or something.
Don't matter. Doesn't matter.
No. So then the next step is going to be to sew together the 3 units that we've made. We're going to sew together the roof unit to the base of the birdhouse, the body of the birdhouse, to the bottom.
Cute, cute, cute.
Yeah. So those are the 3 steps that we're doing next. So we just did. We're sewing this section to this section to this section. Once we get that done, we're going to sew a long strip down the right side. Then we're going to sew this strip across the top. And then we're going to sew this strip down the left side. So those measurements are, the first one that we're sewing down the right-hand side is 1.5 by 15.5. Then we're going to sew this piece across the top, which is 1.5 by 10.5. And then, nope.
No?
This one. See, she really doesn't listen.
I can't listen to this.
Then we're going to do this one down the left-hand side, and that's 2.5 by 16.5. So here she goes. Whipping that through.
It meets. It works.
Okay. Nope. Top.
Top.
Yep. Here. That one. So again, you're going to notice on this block that it's, I don't mean to say lopsided, but your strip down the left side and the right side are different widths, which will all make sense when it goes together.
You're not going to give us any hint as to why that does it? What comes next, Twyla?
No, I'm not telling you. She sewed her what? Let me see what you did. You did.
What?
You sewed those all wrong. Woman.
I just wanted to show you guys my electric
Okay,
seam
so
ripper.
watch this electric seam ripper, guys, for anybody who wasn't to her retreat. Look at how well that works. Look at that little sucker go. See, she did this on purpose so she could demo this. Good catch, Linda.
Linda who?
And Ruth. A few people picked up on it. And this is what happens when I'm not watching and I'm trying to read off other stuff. There we go.
This is what happens when I'm
See,
worried.
isn't that seam ripper just amazing?
This is what happens when I'm worried about going to a dentist.
Doesn't that work nifty?
I love it. You know how long that would have taken me otherwise?
Especially if you sew with a smaller stitch length,
Like
which
this.
I do.
I do too. This industrial machine shows very, very tiny.
Yeah. Okay. Now
That's better.
there we go. Let's get that sucker right.
You guys should have told me that earlier.
Well, I don't think it's their fault because I was over here reading measurements off to them and showing them that so they didn't see it.
Oh.
How much is the seam ripper they're asking?
20 something.
I want to say 28 or 29, but I can't remember off the
love
top of
them.
my head. And if I remember right, you're sold out, but you have more coming, right?
Correct.
She sold out at the retreat.
Because I showed everybody,
She showed everybody
at
at the
retreat.
retreat. So everything she had in stock is gone, but we ordered more right then. So they shouldn't be too much.
That
longer.
looks better, ladies.
There we go. It is worth it, isn't it, Linda? Oh, Joy says it's $28.95.
Joy probably bought my last one.
Thank you, Joy. Okay.
I'll press this baby open. Make sure I got no more mistakes.
So this is the finished block over here. Although I shouldn't say it's the finished block because there's still a little something, but that's later.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
See, this is a mystery to me, too, really.
So here is Deb's block. Done with a more...
So I'm going to make, for my nautical one, I'm making the boat.
Yeah,
So I'm done making birdhouses.
So for anybody who was late joining, remember Deb said that we were going to do a nautical option for this quilt at the end. So this is the boat that's going to be the nautical option at the end. But we're going to wait and do all the instructions for the nautical at the end. But if you're interested,
don't make the birdhouse.
Don't make the birdhouse because...
But you know what? We're making this bigger, so if they wanted to put the birdhouse out farther, they could.
They could.
Or make a cute little wall hanging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the that's the blog for this week, and we will be here next week at 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock, not early, because I won't take any more dentist
Well,
appointments.
she says she won't. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, ladies. See you next time. Deb's off to the dentist.
Bye.
Bye.